Our first question is going to come from Scott Wright from the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Scott.
Well, Jake, first of all, can you just kind of give us the background of your story and how you ended up at Oklahoma State?
I ended up here. Didn't really get highly recruited. I only had like 3 D2 offers coming out of high school. I went to a camp up here. I got noticed by the coaches. Coach Henson was the offensive line coach here at the time. It was like funny because I committed to West Texas A&M, and then the next day at lunch, they texted me and said, "We got a preferred walk-on offered for you here." So I thought about it with my family, and then I decided I would come here because my family all lives like an hour away in Oklahoma City, so I thought it would be best for me to come here.
What family do you have that's so close?
Both my mom and my dad's side, all my grandparents, uncles, aunts, cousins.
All right. So have you has it sunk in that you went from 14 months ago walking on here to now playing left tackle for the number 6 team in the country?
Yeah, I try not to think about that too much, but it's definitely been an amazing journey, and I'm having a lot of fun doing it.
What has the learning process been like for you? Obviously, coming in as a walk-on, you're buried down the depth chart, trying to get some snaps and working your way up. What's the learning process been like for you?
It's been good. Coach Dickey's an amazing coach. Since I've moved up to the starting spot, I've definitely gotten a lot more reps, a lot more learning. It's also big. I'll be watching the guys in front of me, trying to take in as much information as I possibly can.
Is there anybody in particular that you watched a lot and learned from?
I'll watch Tevin Jenkins because he's also the right tackle. I watch Josh a lot in film, watch his footwork, his hand placement, and just how he composes himself.
What's been the biggest challenge or the biggest learning experience of this whole thing for you?
I say the biggest learning experience would be just kind of like the new nuances that they add into the offense each week, just picking up on some small stuff.
Thanks, Jake.
Hey, Jake, Sydney from the softball team, that's your sister, correct?
Yes.
Now, were you here before her, or was she here before you? Was that part of the connection?
She was here before me. That's also part of the reason why I wanted to come here.
Gotcha. Now, did she started off at LSU, was it?
Yes, for 2 years, and then she transferred here.
Okay. And so that kind of paved the way for you a little bit, huh?
Yeah.
Well, we're glad you're here. Our next question is going to come from Frank Bonner from the Tulsa World. Go ahead, Frank.
Hey, Jake, when we talked to Hunter, he told us about when he first got thrown in at the Tulsa game. It was pretty nerve-wracking for him, and, it eventually got better. What was it like for you when you first got out there on the field in the game?
I wasn't really surprised because we came in at halftime. We learned the news that Hunter Anthony has gone down with an injury. So I was preparing at halftime in the locker room. The night before, I was like kind of just running images through my mind of me getting out there and playing, doing my assignment, and just doing my job, and then to just enjoy it.
At what point, whether it was, in that game or in the next game, did you feel comfortable as like, I got this, it isn't really, as new anymore?
When we were in the Tulsa game, after like our first 2 drives, we started driving down the field for the touchdown drive. I really started to get comfortable, and I started telling myself, like, I can do this. It's just football, really.
And how much of a confidence booster was it for the offensive line for OSU, for you guys to have that game that you had against Kansas?
It was a great confidence booster. We all needed that game to kind of catapult our offense. We're running a lot smoother now. Everyone's kind of clicking because we've had so many injuries, had to throw new guys in. So now that we got a good offensive performance behind us, everyone's really clicking.
I appreciate you.
Our next question comes from Jenny Carlson from the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Jenny.
Hey, Jake, how are you?
Hello, I'm doing good.
Good. Hey, Mike Gundy talked earlier this week, and I think he said it on a couple other occasions as well, kind of referenced that musical chairs nature of the offensive line that you guys started with. Have you sensed a difference? I mean, outsiders looking in, it looks different, but do you feel a difference as it's settled and guys have found positions that they're going to be at least look like to be playing for a while?
Yes, there's definitely a difference because there were at some points everyone was kind of everyone was getting thrown into a new position, so everyone was kind of like had to restart the learning process. Like we'd have tackles be playing center and guards be moved out to tackle. So once everyone is settled in, which I feel like we are now, everyone's been going smoothly.
You know, I know that you guys have settled in, but now it sounds like Spencer may be coming back at quarterback. Does that change any of the settling or getting comfortable? I mean, I know that you know, he's maybe a little different quarterback than Shane is, but does that change anything for you guys? Have you used these 2 weeks with no games to kind of try to get that sense figured out?
I mean, there's really no difference. We try to run a fast-paced tempo. I mean, if it's Shane or Spencer, we all got to protect. We all got to trust the guy. We all have a next man up mentality, so we could throw anyone back there. We'll still be comfortable.
All right. Thanks, Jake.
Our next question comes from Scott Wright from the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Scott.
Jake, take us back to the moment you got your scholarship. Those of us that watched it on the ESPN Plus show got to see it, but what was that like for you?
We came in, we were all in the locker room, and then Coach Dickey came in and said, hey, we're going to be in the team room. We have a motivational video for you guys to watch. And I was like, okay. We're walking in there, and then Coach Dunn came down, and he's asking who's from Flower Mound. And I was like, I am. So I'm like, this is kind of weird. Why is he asking me all these questions? And then I sit down in my seat, and then Coach Dickey's like, we got a motivational video from Blake Jarwin. And I was like, oh, because I knew he was a walk-on here. So my heart started kind of going a little bit faster. And then as soon as he said, like, I have one more thing, and then he said my name, and like I feel like the wind got knocked out. I was so excited. I just started crying. I started thinking of my family. Like I did it. Like that was my goal. I came here and I did it after 1 year. So it was amazing for me.
And then who was your first phone call?
My mom and dad.
What was that like?
Oh, we rushed home because we didn't know when they were going to put out the video, and I wanted to be the first person to tell them. I went over to my sister's house. We FaceTimed them. They were both in the car. They were excited for me. Mom started crying. It was great. And then I started getting all the texts and calls from other family members.
Awesome. Good stuff. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Man, Jake, that's what it's about right there.
Yeah.
So if anybody else has a question for Jake, please click raise hand. All right, seeing none. Jake, looks like you are good to go. We really do appreciate you today.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks again, and congratulations on the scholarship.
Thank you.
All right, good luck this weekend.
All right. Thanks.
What makes you different? Why are you able to bounce back from an injury when other people maybe couldn't?
I mean, I think most of it comes in the rehab process. It's all really a mindset type thing for me. At least that's what I was told. You really got to attack rehab, and I feel like I did that. You know, going in, I feel like I went in and did what I was supposed to do, worked as much as I could on it, and trying to get back right. And I think that was a really big key thing for me, is that I wanted to be where I was. I didn't want to, you know, kind of half-ass do rehab and kind of just be somewhat back to where I was. I wanted to be back and possibly even better than what I was. So I made sure I attacked the rehab process as hard as I could.
Very good. I'll tell you what, our first question here from a member of the media is going to come from Jason Elmquist from the Stillwater News Press. Go ahead, Jason.
Hey, Tylan. I know you guys are in the middle of the season, but as we found out throughout the year, a lot of things happening outside of sports as well. We're now 2 weeks away from Election Day, and we found out from Braden Johnson before the season he has every intention to vote. What's your game plan for Election Day here in 2 weeks?
Definitely. I'm gonna try to get with some of the guys. Probably more in the receiver group, and if we could really make that a thing, we're getting all the guys together and just going out and voting together. I think that would really be a really good thing. So I'm gonna probably try and hit up some of the guys in the group chat and get to see if they got a specific time that would work for all of them, and probably try to get us all together and just all go do that. I think that'd be a really good thing.
So are you registered here in Stillwater then?
I am. Yeah.
Okay. Well, this will be your first presidential election, would it not?
It would be, yeah.
I mean, how big is that opportunity of taking part in something as significant as that?
Oh man, it's really big, especially with just the things going on in the country now that have been going on. You know, there's been a lot of just crazy stuff going on. So I think it's a really big thing that guys, especially around my age, go out there and put their vote in and just do what they can to, I guess, better the country in a way.
All right. Thanks, Sam.
Our next question is going to come from Dylan Buckingham from KFOR. Go ahead, Dylan.
It's actually Nate, but Tylan, I was just going to ask you about the touchdown you had against Iowa State last year. What kind of reaction you got from that? And you know, you have the stiff arms, and it kind of went viral. Just what do you remember about that play? And is that something you've kind of looked back on and something you've heard about a bunch from different people since then?
Yeah, through that play, I mean, that was kind of just me playing football. You know, obviously, I really didn't expect to end up in the end zone on that play. I just kind of was going out there just playing football. So I saw a guy coming up to me. I just put my shoulder down and kept my balance, and then kept going from there. And you know, just made plays, I guess. But you know, I never really planned on being in the end zone on that play. But yeah, good times for sure. But I think you got to come out there and especially this week and go out there and just be physical, really. I think that's the really key thing for us, especially on offense, is go out there and make sure we're a physical football team and go out there and do what we're supposed to do.
So you made a bunch of key plays during your time at Oklahoma State. Is that the most memorable for you of all of them?
One of them for sure. Definitely is. Got to be.
All right. Our next question is going to come from Jenny Carlson from the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Jenny.
Hey, Tylan, how are you?
Hey, I'm good.
Good. Hey, it doesn't really seem to matter the year or the circumstances of the two teams. When you guys play Iowa State, it's just become a one possession game over the last 5 years. Do you have any sense of what it is about these two teams, even when they, even when you guys might be on different footings, that these games end up being so tight with Iowa State?
Right. I mean, all the credit to them. They're a pretty good football team, I would say. They don't make too many mistakes. They're fundamentally sound on defense. So that's a key thing that they've been doing and since I've been here, since we played them. And they've just been so sound on defense. It's hard to do certain things against them offensively. So we got to come out there on offense and do what we're supposed to do and make sure we don't make, I guess you could say, more mistakes than they make.
With you guys' offense, obviously you've had kind of some fits and starts, if you will, with the offensive line, sort of musical chairs, as Gundy phrased it earlier this week. Obviously, quarterback situation. Is it? I don't know if frustrating is the right word, but is it interesting to be in that, because you guys had so many guys coming back, and I'm sure the thinking was that there's just going to be this seamless move towards the season, and it hasn't really been as easy as that. What's it been like to go through that even in these first games?
Yeah, it's been real interesting, like you were saying, just having different guys step up and being able to go in there and play. But I think in any situation, guys get hurt, it's the next man up, and we expect the same from the starter as we get from the second or third string guy. We expect the same expectations. So no matter what, the next man is up and he has to be able to perform. And I think so far that we've done a pretty good job of that, especially in the O-line position.
Is frustration kept at bay because you guys keep winning? Is it easy not to get frustrated when you're still winning ball games?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, as long as you're winning games, I don't think there can be really any complaints.
Cool. Thanks, Tylan.
Our next question comes from Frank Bonner from the Tulsa World. Go ahead, Frank.
Hey, Tylan, how are you?
Hey, I'm good.
It's a pretty big game coming up with Iowa State in terms of the conference standings. How unusual is it to be coming up on this big game, basically having a 3-week, bye week of not playing since October 3rd?
Yeah, it feels weird. I was just talking to my brother about that the other day, actually saying that, if this was a normal season, this is probably already game 5, I think, and we're already halfway through the season. And looking at it now, we're only on game 3 or something like that. So it's just crazy that it's going by that fast, but slow at the same time.
How do you mentally kind of stay in it during this 3-week span where you haven't competed?
Yeah, that's always tough. Having all the bye weeks back to back and just kind of sitting and watching everybody play games. But I think it's good that we can sit back and kind of rest our bodies and get ready for the games. I think it can hurt you and it can help you depending on how the team handles it. I think it depends. It can give you a week to mentally prepare and get your bodies back right, or if you don't do what you're supposed to do on the bye week and kind of just slack off, then it can definitely hurt you. I think it depends on the team for sure.
How's it been, knowing that Sanders has been able to get that extra week to come back fully healthy?
Oh, it's real good. I mean, getting him back on the field definitely be a huge help for us. And then also for them defensively, they got to be able to adjust to two different quarterbacks. So I think that's a real good thing that we're getting him back on the field and being able to switch them in and out if we need to.
Thank you, Tyler.
Our next question comes from Cody Nagel from Go Pokes. Go ahead, Cody.
Hey, sticking with Spencer there, how has he looked these past few weeks? Getting to participate more in practice.
He looks really good. He's back out there kind of like he never left. Really no issues, nothing really. I mean, looks like he hasn't missed really a step. So he's out there looking normal to me.
Now, Mike has said that, Shane and Spencer have split first team reps. Is that difficult going back and forth between the two as a wide receiver?
Not exactly. I wouldn't. For me, I don't think it's difficult at all. I mean, we spent the time with both of them, I feel like probably I'd spend a little bit more time with Spencer over the years, obviously, but getting those reps and also with Shane, I feel like I got a good understanding of how they both throw the ball and what they're going to do to be able to be comfortable with both of them, no matter who's in there.
All right, thank you.
All right, and our last couple questions. Our next question is going to come from Ryan Breeden from the O'Colly. Go ahead, Ryan.
Hey, Tylan. So I was going to ask you a little about Spencer too, but the other guys have answered a little bit more most of the questions I had. But one of them I had for you was back when he got injured against Tulsa. What did you see from him, like within the week after, like during the start of his recovery process? Was it frustration, determination? Like, what did you see?
Kind of just a little bit. I guess you could say both. Obviously, with any injury, guys get a little frustrated. They want to get back as soon as they can. But he was also, like you were saying, really determined. He was in there. He was supporting Shane. He was going out, doing what he's supposed to do, going to treatment every day, and doing what he can to get back on the field as soon as possible. So saw a little bit of both of that.
Right. And so Spencer and Shane have a little bit different play styles. But so can you just tell me a little bit about what it is from Spencer that makes him so special?
Man, he's a dual threat guy. I mean, he can throw the ball 70 yards down the field if he wants, or he can just take off running down the middle and you got to be able to catch him. I mean, it's kind of hard, I feel like, defensively to be able to stop him just because you got to worry about him running the ball and also throwing it. So for me, I think that's two key things with Spencer that it's really just hard to stop.
So would you say that you guys overall as an offense feel comfortable with either one of them?
For sure. I think either guy that goes in there, I think we'll be able to go in there and execute no matter what.
Thanks a lot, Tylan.
All right, and our final question is going to come from Scott Wright from the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Scott.
Tylan, you've had a lot of success catching passes from a lot of different guys over the course of your career. What is the key for a receiver to build a good relationship with a quarterback the way that you have so many different times?
I think for the most part, it's just kind of spending time with them, mainly on the field, but also off the field as well. Just kind of getting to understand not just him as a quarterback, but him as a person as well. I think that is a key thing to being able to having that comfortable relationship on the field when you're out there playing a game.
So were you able to do that a little bit with Shane, even though it was a kind of a short time thing that he hadn't been around so long?
For sure, yeah. Going out there, I mean, Shane's, like we were saying, real cool, laid back guy. I had him maybe over one or a couple of days over the weekend. He came over. We kind of all just hung out, and then also on the field, just going in and getting reps with him. I think just doing those two things. I mean, they seem little, but I think they really make a big impact on the field.
And last thing I wanted to ask you about, another question about your rehab. How valuable was your brother during that process for you?
For sure. It's huge help. I mean, going in there, like I was saying, you'll probably heard me say before, I'd go in there, I'd ask him anything. Like I need to know whether my knee was feeling a certain way or what I need to mainly focus on during rehab. And I really just asked him anything. I mean, and he had an answer for it. So I think he was really just a huge help that pushed me to get through rehab.
Good stuff. Thanks, man.
Hey, Tylan, one last thing before we let you go. You're going now on a few years of being really kind of face of the program, one of the highest profile receivers in the country. Before you walked in the room, we spoke with Jake Springfield, who doesn't get, a whole lot of the public accolades and all that kind of stuff. And I think most people probably wouldn't recognize him if he walked in the room. But, guys like him are so valuable to the program. And he talked to us a little bit about when he got the news of getting his scholarship. What does Jake mean to the program? And how does a high profile guy like you view a guy like Jake?
Man, I just have the utmost respect for guys like that come in here and just they work their butt off, and especially guys that earn scholarships like that. I mean, that's just a blessing as it is just to receive a scholarship. And guys like him, they come in and they don't know if they're going to get a scholarship. They don't know like things like that are going to happen. They just come in and they work their butt off every day. So to see things happen like that for guys like him and to receive scholarships is just a really blessing.
All right. Thank you so much. And please know how much we appreciate you all the time doing these. It really makes a difference.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
All right. Thanks. Have a great night, Tylan.
You too.
Thanks. Take care.